Or public. Oh, well. It's supposed to be private, but we're on YouTube.
Does that mean we're ready to go?
Yes, sir. So we are here. What we do? It's supposed to be private, but we're on YouTube. Yeah. Oh.
Does that mean we're ready?
Sorry, I got feedback. My bad. Okay, here we go. So we are here today to listen to Mike Barsky, which I will be more than happy to admit that I have not talked to Mike as much as everybody else has. But I know you guys are starting in Halloween, and he's been doing light shows for about 10 years now, I guess.
Yep.
And he has this affinity for Ford products or something. I don't know. But we'll give him a minute to talk about himself and when he gets started. And just for a couple housekeeping rules, make sure everybody has their VCS number in front of their name. I'm sure it's been iterated and reiterated many times today. That's how we're keeping track of raffle prizes. And with that being said, Mike Barsky, it's all yours.
All right, let's see if I can get the presentation going. All right, looks like that magic worked. All right, I'm not going to really waste any of your time talking about me. There's all the sponsors. I think by now everybody probably knows the etiquette. So I like singing faces. I've been doing singing faces for quite a while. I started out doing them in lore with Papagayo, gave up on that a few years ago, and have been doing it in X-Lights ever since. It's quite a bit easier and I think quite a bit more effective, and you get a lot more side benefits out of it, which I'll talk about as we get going.
Mike, you might want to try to reshare your screen. It looks like it's
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm showing share. All right, stop share. Share. Screen 2. Is it back?
Trying.
Let me know when you see it, if you see it.
Nope.
All right, let me see about swapping it to the other screen then. So now I got to get to Zoom. Can you see it now?
No.
Wow, it tells me I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, we see you started screen sharing, double click to enter full screen, but it's nothing.
Well, that kind of sucks.
Okay, so we will call it a day. Thanks, Mike, for coming in and helping out. We appreciate it.
How the heck are we going to fix this?
Yeah, check your second screen.
Well, I'm sharing the screen that's got the presentation on it. Let me, here, let me just see about sharing the screen without being in presentation mode. We'll see if we can cheat it that way. Or even do that. See anything now?
Nope.
Good Lord.
No. It's just Chris. Chris is fine.
I mean, I've shared my screen on Zoom 1,000,000 times. anything now? I'm guessing no.
Maybe try to turn off your video.
All right. Stop sharing video. That's a good idea. Nobody wants to see me anyway. Now?
Nope. Try sharing anything, just anything besides your slides, so we can get something up.
All right, now I'm sharing something else. Notes I've been taking all day. I'm guessing you don't see that either.
Nope.
All right. Wonder if I need to stop recording. Is somebody else recording this?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
All right, well, let's see if that makes any difference. I'm guessing not. Well, this is going to make for an interesting presentation if I can't show anybody anything.
I think the nuclear option maybe just quit and rejoin.
All righty. Wonderful. All right. I will leave and come back.
Maybe you could share the PowerPoint with someone else next to it.
All right. Who do you want me to send it to? Do you want me to send it to somebody else?
Can you put in chat, or is it too big to put in chat?
Try to rejoin first.
All right, I'll leave and come back.
Okay, well, this is fun. All right, so answer in chat and chat only if you prefer 5-volt or 12-volt. What? Who put 21? Robert Casey, I think you're answering a different question. We don't ask, don't tell around here. So Robert Bates is from Trinidad and Tobago. From what I understand, there's quite a few people there, isn't there?
I think they have about 3 of us from here.
That's a pretty small island. I think we have entire states that don't have that many people in it.
But on the flip side, we have no COVID-19 anymore.
With only 3 of you on an island.
No, 1.3 million people.
So I'm just going to throw this out here just in case. Is this channel big enough so that Mike can actually get back in?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to be like, well, okay, the presenter is now not able to get in.
Yeah, they opened up the max participants about halfway through our second presentation this morning. Threw me for a loop. Let's see, what else we got? We got where's Blair McLaren? Where are you from? New Zealand. You know, Stephen, that's actually a good question. Our favorite talking face prop, singing face prop. There are so many out there. Holiday Coro sells some. LOR sells some. Gilbert and Boscoyo both sell singing faces. And plenty of people do their own singing faces. And I fell in love with the Boscoyo / Jordan Nash collaboration last year at Trans World, where Jordan was projecting onto Boscoyo faces. That was awesome.
I've got the new GE singing tree for Halloween this year, so I'm looking forward to that one.
All right, so I'm back in, but I had to come in through the browser this time. Do you want to give me access to share the screen? And we'll see if it'll work from the browser instead of the Zoom client.
Go ahead and try. Yes.
Okay, wow. I guess it didn't like the client. And can you still see it?
Sure enough.
All right. Jeez, that was fun. All right, so
now we got that worked down. You got 10 minutes left, Mike. So
yep, so we'll go warp speed. All right, so singing faces in X-Lights. There's 3 important things that make that up. So the model, whether that's AC lights, RGB, or a matrix, and for all intents and purposes, a tree is just a funny shaped matrix. The lyric track, and then the faces effect. So big thank you to the X-Lights developers, because they made a lot of really cool enhancements to the lyric track capability, like reducing duplicate phonemes. Instead of having the initial phonemes just spread out evenly across a word, they tried to make it so that it might actually match up the way the word is pronounced. And then they've given us a user dictionary for defining non-standard words. So what's a lyric track? It's basically a timing track used to control the mouth movements of the faces effect. A bonus, at least for me, since I pretty much do singing faces on every one of my songs, is I get to use that lyric track as a timing track for effects on other props. So a lyric track, it's kind of like where 3 tracks equal 1 thing. So it starts off with the phrase. So where it says, "I wish it was Christmas," that's the lyric that you will paste into it. And then you break it down to the words. So that's that sort of that second row or second track. And then the third row is all the phonemes, when you break down the words into phonemes. So you kind of got to have all 3 of those things if you're starting from scratch to be able to get something useful. Little side note, if you have sequences that you've done back in Lore, used Papagayo, imported it into X-Lights, and it's just effects that are on the model for your singing face, you can use a tool within X-Lights to convert that to a timing track. So that's a pretty cool feature. And actually, I guess I should have clicked the buttons. So will jump on. So that third row is really where the magic happens, because the faces effect is going to use the phonemes to make the mouth movements happen. So once you've done all that work to line up the phrases, the words, and then broken it down to the phonemes, at that point, for the most part, all you really need is the row that has the phonemes. But the timing track, the timings for the lyric track are based off of the row with the phrases. All right, so the anatomy of the lyric track. You've got the phrase, which is a small group of words. You got the word, which is a sound or combination of sounds that has some meaning. And then the phonemes, which I guess pet peeve of mine, some people tend to say phenom. It's not a phenom. That's somebody who's really good at something. But a phoneme is the smallest unit of sound. So every one of those little bits of sound that it takes to make up a word. So the basic workflow, pick a song and then go find the lyrics. We have the internet, so just go search for it, find the lyrics, but they're not always accurate. So once you have the lyrics, I usually copy it and paste it into WordPad or Word, just someplace where it's easy to edit it. And then I listen to the track and make sure that the words that they're singing match up to the words that I've got pasted into the Word document or the WordPad document of all the lyrics, because sometimes they're not quite right. Because eventually you're going to copy all of those lyrics and paste them into your lyric track. You want to create a musical sequence at 40 frames per second. Why 40 frames per second? Because it gives you more granular control over how you align the phrases, the words, and the phonemes. Then you're going to create a track for the lyrics, import the lyrics. Xlights has a nice little option, lets you define where you want to start that import on the timing and where you want it to end, so that you can at least get an overall alignment of the start of the vocals of the song to the end. Then you're going to align the phrases, align the words, and align and edit the phonemes. All right, so demo time. I'm going to show you a little teeny bit of Christmas Every Day by Simple Plan. I've already got the timing track and the package sequence uploaded to the Xlights Google Drive. You can find the music file on Amazon. And let's move over to Xlights. So I guess let me bring that up. I should try to move. Let me move my Zoom browser tab over so I can actually see the chat and see what I'm doing at the same time. All right. Yes, the phoneme means the mouth movement. That's a good way to look at it. All right. So hopefully everybody can see my Xlights here. Yep. Okay. So let me look at my cheat sheet. So I've already created the sequence at 40 frames per second. I like to think that at least the majority of you already know how to create a sequence. So I'm not going to bore you with that. But we want a lyric track. So I'm going to right click here and I'm going to add a timing track. It's an empty one. I will name it lyrics. And now I want to import lyrics. So let me go to my, I don't have that document open, do I? I've had to restart a couple times today because Zoom kept locking up. So let me find my file. Christmas Every Day lyrics. There it is. So I'm just opening, you can't see it. I just opened a file, copied all the lyrics. And now I'm going to import lyrics and just paste. There's all the lyrics. I'm not going to do anything this time with the start time and the end time, and just hit OK. Now it just kind of puts it all out there. You can't really see it. I'll zoom in. Equally distributed phrases across the timing, which is OK. And you would just need to go in and whatever approach you prefer, get all the phrases lined up. But I'm not going to do that. this time. Let me just get rid of all of that. I'm gonna cheat because I did a little bit to prepare for this. And I'm going to go to import lyrics again. And I'm just going to type this short little one, make sure I got the right one. Helps to spell Christmas correctly. All right, so I'm going to just bring in this one little bit of the song, and I made note of where that's located. It starts at 6.725. That's in seconds, and then it ends. Oh no, that's the wrong one. It's at 64.8, and it ends at 69.625. So now it brought it in right there, and we'll zoom in. And if I play that, let's see. Well, that's timed pretty well. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and break that down. Right click and break down phrases. So now the thing to do would be to align all the words. Zoom in a little more. I like to be zoomed in pretty well. Oh, that's a lot more than I.
I don't think we're hearing your audio.
You're not hearing my
Mike.
audio? Okay, is that a Zoom setting to share system audio?
You have to select it when you share screen.
Is there some place where, do I have to unshare and share again?
I'm hearing your audio, but it's just a bit low.
Oh, advanced sharing options, nope. More. All right, well.
The old way is you stop, share, and reshare, but I think there's a drop-down menu that allows you to share your system audio with the checkbox.
Yeah, I thought there was two, but now that I haven't shared in the browser before.
We'll try this. Somebody said that they heard it, but it was low. So try.
We're getting it through his mic. We're just getting it through his mic.
Well, I just turned on my
okay.
speakers. Let me switch it. After Tom's presentation, I went in and set my audio on X-Lights to quiet. So let's try this again.
No, we're just picking up it through your microphone.
Could you hear that?
No, we're just getting it barely from your microphone, not from the actual system audio.
All right, go ahead and stop share and reshare. And at the bottom of that screen, make sure you have a share computer sound.
Stop share. All right.
At the bottom there should be a little checkbox that says share.
No, well, I'm in the browser of Zoom, and I don't see anything about other.
You're going to share your desktop probably in the top left-hand corner. In the very bottom left-hand corner should be a box that says share system audio.
No, I just have share because I'm in the browser. I'm not in the client. Well, we'll see if you can get it through the microphone now with my speakers instead of you just hearing it faintly through my headphones.
We got it.
That'll
All
work.
right. Okay. So I got a little bit of the C. So we have. Let me get a little bit of the. So you just got to keep working it till you have all the words. That was the and Christmas. I know that's too much. And that's not going to be enough for up here.
Oh,
All right. So now we have the words lined up pretty well. We can break down the words. And the first time you do it, when you have X lights open, it's got to load the dictionaries. Now it tends to do a pretty decent job of lining up the phonemes. This is where I'll drop the faces effect in, because now I want to see the mouth movements as I'm getting things lined up. So let's bring the face in. We'll put it on the matrix. And I'll tell it the timing track is lyrics. I guess we can leave it as the blue tree. And I'm going to put one on one of these bulbs. Because I actually like looking at the mouth movements on the bulbs better. It's on lyrics. Bulb. And might as well give it the outline. There we go. Okay. So now we want to go into every one of the words and make sure that the phonemes are lined up pretty well. There's not a lot of point in looking at I. It's only got one phoneme. There's not much to can. So I'm going to skip to a couple of important ones. So for me, I don't like using the AI phoneme for the word the. I don't know many people who open their mouth really wide for the word the. So I change it to, it needs to be caps, the E phoneme. And then for the word Christmas, the default in the dictionary is an AI phoneme at the beginning and an AI at the end. And I'm not a big fan of that either. But I guess first I just need to get the phonemes lined up. So that started getting into the S. So we'll bring this back a little. That's not bad. But again, I don't think it should be the big wide open AI for the first phoneme. So I make that an E. And then if nothing else, you get a little more variation between the mouth movements rather than just being like this ventriloquist dummy opening its mouth really wide and then closed for a lot of the phonemes. So that's one of my little tricks is sometimes it's making sure that the phoneme and the mouth movement, how much it's opening, and it's usually the AI and the E, do they tend to match visually with what you're hearing? But it's also, I don't like to have the same phoneme a lot of times in a row, unless you've got enough things in between to break it up. Like here we've got C, the, and then Christmas, and for the most part, it's kind of like having 3 E's in a row, but we've got some little et ceteras in between. So that kind of breaks it up a little bit. So let's see how this is looking. So I haven't done anything with appear yet, which is another one where I would probably change one of the phonemes. You start to get used to seeing where the hits are on the waveform, and that can help you line up your phonemes. So I'm guessing that up here, the part where sort of ear starts is somewhere around this hit. We'll see what happens. But to me, that last part of the word is more of an E sound than an A sound. So that's how I would go through and import the lyrics, line up the phrases, the words, and the phonemes, and then go through and edit the phonemes. I've seen a fair number of people who will just break down the words, and wherever the phonemes land, they think, oh, that's good enough. The mouths move really fast. You can't really tell. You can tell. I mean, just like Tom said in his presentation, if you think it's good enough, it's not. Take a little time, go back in and edit it. and get it the way you really want it to be. I'm not really, well, I guess I could save that one, but let me open up the finished sequence. And I'll play a little bit of this. I won't play the whole thing. And then I'll get back to the slides.
I wish it was Christmas, Christmas every day. We could just let it snow forever and live on holiday. There would be presents everywhere and under every tree. Santa Claus, if I could have my way. I wish it was Christmas every day.
All right, so that is a little peek at the package sequence, this sequence that is shared up on the X-Lights Google Drive. I'll bring the slides back up. And all right, let's go ahead and put it in presentation mode so at least a little bit easier to see. Except I can't remember which screen I'm saving it or sharing at this point. We'll just make it big. Okay, I think, can I start over? But I'm not sure what you're asking me to start over. The whole thing? I don't think we have time for that. And I see somebody commented double-click plays on there. So there's a preference in X-Lights. I guess I'm gonna bring X-Lights back up. So if you go to your preferences, and actually I've got it in the slides. Effects grid, double-click, play the timing, or edit the text. So I leave mine at play the timing because I'd rather just click on the word or phrase that I want to hear. And then you would shift double click to do the other thing. So if you want to have double click play the phrase or the word or the phoneme, then shift double click would let you edit it. If you want double click to let you edit it, then shift double click would let you play it. All right, so well, and there we go. That's what I was about to show in the slides. Go to the next slide. Breaking down the words. So if you always seem to change the phoneme for a particular word, even if it's in the standard dictionary, you can make some changes so that you won't have to edit that every time. So as I was saying, the word the, I'm always changing that AI to E, and Christmas, I always change that first AI to E. Every, I usually change that second AI to, or I change one of them to an E, and there's a few other words. If you copy your standard dictionary to your show folder, instead of using the standard dictionary that's in the X-Lights program files, it'll use the one that's in your show folder. And then you can use Notepad++ to edit your standard dictionary. Now, it's going to look weird when you open it up because the phonemes in there aren't AI and E. They're in some different kind of phonetic format. But it's not difficult to figure it out. I looked at Christmas and saw the phoneme that was the AI, and then I just went somewhere and found what looked like the E, a word that had the sound I wanted, and used that phoneme. So I went through and edited a few of the words in the standard dictionary so that every time I break down the word Christmas now, not in the folder that I was using today, but in my regular show folder, it'll go ahead and make those edits for me. I tried doing that first in the user dictionary, but the standard dictionary took precedence over the user dictionary. But you can use the user dictionary to define other words. I recently did the Oogie Boogie song, and there's words oogity and boogity, which are not in the standard dictionary. So I took oogie and boogie, put them in the user dictionary, and then just edited them, and then it would break them down. So if I ever do another song that has oogity and boogity in it, it'll break them down. Odds are probably low on that. Some other tips. So the resting mouth shape. I think somebody's got their mic turned on. I'm hearing some weird sounds. So some other little tips. The resting mouth shape, especially for AC and RGB faces. A pet peeve of mine is that the default seems to be that top, I call it the top lip, top mouth. I don't think that looks natural at all. When you close your mouth, it doesn't all of a sudden move like just below your nose. So I edit the face definition so that the I don't know how I got muted. Am I unmuted now?
You're good, Mike. Sorry about that.
All right. I wasn't muted, then I was. Okay, anyway, the resting mouth shape, my preference is to use the middle mouth instead of the upper mouth. You can do whatever you prefer. I just think it looks more natural. With the AC faces, so I still use AC faces in addition to my pixel tree. When you're sequencing it, if more than one color is selected on the faces effect, the outline and the eye effect or parts of the faces effect won't work. So you just need to have one color turned on, and the best thing is just to leave it on white, and then that will work. RGB faces, the models will be included. When you download the model, all the submodels or the definitions for the faces will be included. And you can right-click on the waveform. Let me bring X-Lights back on top. So if you right-click on the waveform, you can change the waveform to be bass, treble, alto, non-vocals. I don't tend to use that for any of my sequencing. I definitely don't use it for the singing faces, but it might be of value to you somewhere along the way. The matrix tree faces. So in X-Lights, if you want to, I don't have a tree up here. Well, I have a matrix. So if I want a different face for my matrix, whether it's a tree or anything else, I'll go into my layout, go to the matrix, go to faces, edit the face. I usually just type the word new because maybe I'm not sure which face I'm going to download. I want to look around and see what they have. Tell it it's a matrix and download images. And now I can take a look and see what do they have. Let's look at some Megatree faces. The gingerbread man. Nah, I don't want to use that one. I don't want to use that one. Let's go to Halloween because I like Halloween. Dracula trees on. Nope, those aren't the ones. It was under monsters. Oh yeah, that was a pretty good one. I used that one. So I picked devil, insert face. It brings everything exactly where it needs to be for all the different phonemes. And then I'll click on the little triple dots and rename it now that I know what it is. It's the devil face. Click OK. And now if I go back to the sequencer, I can go to the matrix here. And instead of Charlie Brown, we have, well, I have it zoomed in. We can have the devil singing Christmas Every Day. Probably not culturally appropriate, but you get the idea. So let's come back here. Oh. I guess I was able to make up time pretty quickly. Let me look in the chat and see what kind of questions we have. Some of the faces for the matrix are terrible. Time for an update. So here's something that you can do. So I downloaded some faces. They were just some similar to that devil, where it was just sort of like a purple face with some yellow eyes, and there was another version that was a red face with yellow eyes, and I just wanted to change the colors a little. So I did that whole process of downloading them, and then I opened them up in Photoshop and just edited the colors and got the colors to where I wanted them. Do you see Queen Mary Audacity? I do use Queen Mary. I have that installed. I mean, for the lyric track part, I don't know that there's anything in there that I would need to use, but I certainly use it for sequencing.
Hey, Mike, got some good news and some bad news for you.
Okay.
This would normally be the time I tell you that you have a 10-minute warning.
Yeah.
However, since this is the last class of the day and we've got, say, half an hour between between this class and the roundtable, we can let you. I don't think anybody will mind if you go over.
Oh, that's fine. So I went like at warp speed for no reason.
Yeah, I just saw that we
Okay, so how do you handle multiple?
we have a gap.
Okay,
If you
sure.
wanna take
Yeah,
your
no
time,
problem.
if you want to go back and cover some other stuff.
No,
or
I'll
extend-
hang out and answer questions for as long as people want to ask.
Beautiful.
All right, so let's see. We have, how do you handle multiple faces singing different parts of the song? Do you have to do multiple lyric tracks, multiple phoneme tracks? So that's a good question. Let me bring this up and zoom in. Let me get this back to Charlie Brown. That's just kind of disturbing. There we go. So I have two lyric tracks in this song. One is the main vocals, and the other one is, I just called it additional vocals. Sometimes I name it lyrics, backing vocals, all depends. So I don't typically repeat like the chorus. Multiple faces will be singing the chorus. You could create a track that's chorus, and then whenever the chorus happens, make all the faces sing the chorus track. That's one way to do it. I don't know if it's laziness or I just don't want to have any more lyric or timing tracks, much less lyric tracks in my sequence than I have to, because they take up a lot of space on the timing grid. So I'll just leave it in here. And when it's time for the chorus, so here I've got all these backing faces singing the main vocals, which happens to be the chorus. Now over here, where it's the whoa, oh, 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 oh stuff, the bulbs are singing, those bulbs are singing it, those four, while that bulb and Charlie Brown are singing the main vocals. So there's no one way to do it. Let's see, can you export a completed track to lore? Wow, you can. I did it years ago when I used lore. I don't remember exactly where that is, but yes, you can. There'll probably be something to ask some of the X-Lights guys, because again, it's been so long since I've done it. Or maybe ping me after this, because I'd have to go in and play around with it again. Because when I first started using X-Lights, I was using it just for my pixels, and then I'd export it to lore. That was the first year I used X-Lights. Then the second year I went all X-Lights, so I sort of had a bridge year between the two. How do you add a word to a lyric track if you forgot a word? That's a really good one too. So let's zoom in. So let's just say we missed the word forever here. Get a little more room. I'm just gonna go to make it, we'll delete the phonemes, what the heck. And we'll just delete it. So the word forever wasn't in there. So I was like, oh crap, we don't have forever in there. Let's get this line back up to at least cover it, because the timing, that's probably close enough. So I can take another word and copy it, Control C. Trick for doing that is you don't want any of your timing tracks selected. If you have it selected, it gets a little wonky. You can copy it, but where you paste it in might be a little funky. So I usually just turn the timing track off. I'll copy the word snow, paste it here, stretch it out. For me, it's shift double click, change that to forever. And then I can right click and just break down the word instead of going here and break down the words, which will wipe out all the work that I did with all my phonemes. I can break down this individual word, break down word. And if you forgot a couple of words next to each other, if you highlight the two words and then right click, break down words, it'll only break down those selected words. I would love to know your personal list of words you changed the phonemes. Yeah, well, I finally got around to sort of making my own standard dictionary. So big ones for me are the, Christmas, every. Those are the big ones. But now that I've figured out how to go in and edit the standard dictionary using Notepad++, and now that I know to put a copy of the standard dictionary in my show folder, so that it won't get overwritten every time Xlights gets updated, and it will load every time I'm using Xlights, I'm starting to update that. So I don't have a big comprehensive list. I'm just sort of doing it as I come across it as I'm doing lyric tracks. I wish I'd have thought of it a couple of years ago. How do you make a mouth quiver on a long, drawn-out note? There's a couple ways to do that. So we're just going to pretend that forever is lasting for a long time. And actually, there probably should be a little etc. at the end of forever. So let's add a phoneme. Just like with the word, I did a copy and paste, shift double click, and etc. is lowercase for whatever reason, and the other ones are, a lot of the other phonemes have to be uppercase. So you can do things like, I'll just get that at the end. So let's just say it's they're dragging that out. Like, let me zoom in some more. I could copy that E and paste it and just leave a little space. And I do that a lot when they're saying oh, oh, oh. Let me find that on the track. Yeah. There we go. So this is a good example. It's they're actually saying what here. I'll just play it. So it's discrete O's, but it's the same concept. Yeah, you could put a shimmer on, I suppose, but I'll usually take care of it on the lyric track by putting little spaces between the same phoneme. I might have to copy and paste the phoneme to get it to happen. But either way can work. You add a lyric track the same, let's see. Show us how to update the dictionary on Xlights. So the user dictionary, which I only just went to update the first time the other day, is here. Add a word. Oh, here, let's try oogity. And I'm going to copy from boogie because I don't think oogie is a word. So there. But oogity doesn't start with B. So I'm going to get rid of the, I have to get rid of the B. I got to remember how to edit the thing now. Oh, I think I have to add it right now. I add it and I can go in here. I can get rid of the B. So now it's oogie. But I think what I did for oogity is I went in and looked up the word it. Let me. Yeah, I know it already exists in there. I just wanted to see what it was. Okay, so it. So oogity. So now I've got, right now my oogity is oogie. So, but I want it to be oog-ity. So that IY0 at the end needs to go away. And I'll put the IH1. So now it's oogie-ty. That should work. So that's kind of the idea for updating the user dictionary. For the standard dictionary, let me go ahead and show you that. Let me find my folder. standard dictionary in it. Where is it? Standard dictionary, open with. I'm gonna have to open Notepad++ separately. Open. So far, I've only got my updated standard dictionary in my Halloween show folder, because that's what I'm working on these days. Oops, standard dictionary, open. All right, so I'm going to, now there was a find in here. There we go, search find. Let's find Christmas. So here's Christmas. I already edited it. It had a different phoneme in here. This EH1 is sort of the E, or at least one of the various E phonemes in this crazy phonetic definition system that they use. So I changed what it used to be, which I don't know, I think it was like, what was it? I think it was like an AA1, and I changed it to EH1 and then saved it. Let me find every, because that probably would show those two phonemes. Yeah, so it's weird. There's like AA1 and AA2, and I don't know that they look any different, but when they get translated into X-lights with those more like Papagayo phonemes, it becomes the AI. And this, I think the IY0 equates to an E phoneme. So originally every had two sort of AI type phonemes, and I edited it to be the first one, the wide open mouth, and the second one to be the less wide open, sort of the top mouth and the middle mouth instead of the top mouth and the bottom mouth. I know that dictionary and the phonemes are really weird looking, but it's once you see what they're doing, it's not difficult to edit. The other thing you can do, if you have some word that isn't defined, is you can find a word that sounds similar to it. I don't remember which one of the reindeer doesn't break down, whether it's vixen or blitzen, but they phonetically are pretty darn close. So I copied the one, pasted it, and then sort of tweaked the alignment of the phonemes. Let's see, what are the best low res faces? I don't know. There's a lot of them. There's a lot in the, you can see them on the Google Drive, but also if you do that download of the faces, it'll show you. And the ones that look blocky, they look like an old Atari 8-bit video game. Those are the low res. So I would just say, download it, take a look at it, see if you like it. If you do, use it. If you don't, find another one. The lyric track imports in the wrong area. How can I shift all the lyrics at once? All right, we can do that right now. So deselect the timing track. So, right now my lyric track, timing track is selected. If I deselect that, it's kind of a long song, and I can highlight everything, and then I can use the arrow key to move it. There, you're seeing it moving a little. So I've now just screwed up the alignment for that song, but I won't save it. Let's see, can you show one more time where you want to update the standard dictionary? Okay, so yeah, let me show you where it exists. So on Windows, you'd have to go to your C drive, program files, X-lights, and there it is, standard dictionary. Actually, the extended dictionary would be in there too. I just haven't run across a word where I needed to go into the extended dictionary. So what I did is I took that and copied it, Control C, and I would go to my X lights, and I'm working in this one, Christmas Every Day folder. I paste it in there, and now this one in the show folder is the one I would edit. And the reason I would edit the one in the show folder is because every time you update X lights, it's gonna install the standard dictionary again. So it's gonna overwrite it, and then you would lose all of the work that you did editing those standard words to look the way you want them. Shout out to Scott Hansen. I just like a week ago posted a question: how can I get the standard dictionary to keep what I want? And he said, put it in your show folder. It'll default to the standard dictionary in your show folder over top of, instead of the one in your program files. So now you can edit your standard dictionary. Yes, it's kind of strange. When you look at it, it takes a little bit to figure out how to edit it. But once you have those words edited, you don't ever have to change them again. And once you have them edited in one show folder, you can just copy that standard dictionary to your other show folders, and now you have them everywhere. When you update the user dictionary, it saves it to your show folder. So you'll have that in the future. Let's see.
So somebody asked a question about adding shimmer. Did you already go over that?
I don't typically do that on the to get that effect. I usually force it in the lyric track itself. So I haven't actually done that. I don't know if you would then add a layer. What would you do? Insert a layer below your.
No, you literally change the phenome and add the word -shimmer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Hey, learn something
So
new every day.
that pink AI that I see in the third line down, very last one, you just double click to edit it or whatever, and add -shimmer in there.
Does the word shimmer need to be lowercase?
I believe it's lowercase, no spaces. Try it with no spaces.
With no space at the dash. All right, let's see what happens. Wow! That's cool. Thank you.
That is cool
Well, that's a lot easier.
because I've tried that before, but I think
it's a different effect.
Yeah,
it's a different effect, but it's simple.
Right, it's got to use. So I mean, to your point about the original question, when somebody's holding that note, that's a perfect time to use this. What I was doing is more probably a good use for it is when they're saying oh all in a row. So they're discrete words, but you have to put a break because if you let all those words run together, it's just going to be one big O movement. And that would look like crap. Trying to think if there's any other interesting little tips to share. I went pretty quick, but
you want to talk real quick about speed and play slowing down the audio if you have something quick.
Yeah, you can do that. Oddly, you can do that. So if you want to slow down the audio because you want to hear exactly where that word starts or that particular phoneme starts, yeah, I mean, you could go to the speed and adjust it down, to whichever speed works best for you. For me, I've tried that a few times where I was like, oh, I really can't quite hear where it is. Let me slow it down. And oddly, I've personally had better luck just playing it, and then I keep trying, and I'll just zoom in really, really close. And this is why you want to be sequencing songs with lyric tracks at 40 frames per second, because then you can, dial in pretty close on the waveform. I mean, I'm zoomed in pretty close, so that looks like that's about how much I can move. So I would just listen to it. That's where headphones really come in handy. A good pair of headphones, especially over the ear, comfortable ones, and not Bluetooth, because Bluetooth will have a bit of a lag. But yeah, I'll definitely put my headphones on there for that, and turn the volume up a bit and zoom in really close, and then I'll just keep trying. Okay, where is it? And I might move this phoneme one little, click at a time until I get it exactly where I want it to be. I mean, it's just like when Tom was presenting about the music theory. If you think it's good enough, it's not. Take the time in and get them lined up just right, and you'll be really pleased with what it looks like. So I've got somebody saying, can you play again? Like play again, play again. Okay. Well, let me close it and reopen it because I screwed up the timing on it. Close sequence, discard. We'll get past the musical intro.
I wish it was Christmas, Christmas every day. We could just let it snow forever and live on holiday. There would be presents every morning under every tree.
Just the shimmer part. All right. Let me go put the shimmer back in the AI. All right. So we'll shift double click, dash shimmer.
Yeah, we don't want to see all the hard work you put into that, Mike.
That's all right. You can see that at your leisure. You can download it if you want it. Now I have it. I didn't get to pop into room 1 at 4 o'clock. Did I luck out? And it's Christmas every day, the X Lights Around the World song?
It's one of two. Yes.
Oh, sweet. Well, hey, now if the people who are doing the sequence for X Lights Around the World, they don't have to do the lyric track because it's all done for them. All right, so I'll play the whole phrase, and then we'll get the shimmer at the end there. Oh, do I need to render it? Do I need to render that? Shouldn't have had to render it. I did spell shimmer right, yeah. That's cool.
And it's random on each face too. That's
Yeah, so that is interesting how it's random. I was just thinking, would I get that shimmer to be the same on all of them? I'd probably want to make a group for those bulbs when I put that face effect on, put the face effect on the group, and then for the render style, make it the default per model, and that should make them all do it the same. If I wanted them to do it the same.
yeah. If you got like a long drawn out note where maybe they're singing different notes or singing different words.
Yeah.
At the same. Yeah, I can see all kinds of uses for that.
Yep, that thing is super cool. No, I think it was just that I needed to render it.
Keith snuck that in like early this year, I think it was, or late last year.
Random question, just curious. What is the Great Christmas Round Table, and is that for everyone? Yes, it's for everyone. It's the Great Christmas Light Fight. It's a round table of people who have been contestants along with the producers of the show, and they talk about their experiences on the show, and I think things like, what it takes to get on the show, all that sort of stuff. It's pretty cool. I've been to it at Christmas Expo before.
All right, Mike. Looks like things are kind of winding down now, so I think we'll do a bit of a comp or let you off the hook, so you don't have to extend it out, and people who are hanging out for the won't be held up. So we'll go ahead and wrap this up and say, Mike, thank you. Appreciate all the help.
You're welcome. Sorry it started off so rough. Not sure what that was about.
We worked through it.
Well.
So if you have a sponsor slide, we can show that. If not, that's okay. I would like to add that there is the Singing Faces group, which is a excellent place to learn how to do singing faces. even if you've never done one before in your life, but really are interested in doing it, there's a lot of people in there that'll help you out. But right now we're in the 3rd year, and hopefully we'll have that wrapped up soon.
Oh, let me just make one final comment. So I don't personally have a spot where I can put the slides, but I'll make sure they get posted somewhere. Because there's links, well, a link to the song on Amazon and links to the package sequence, where you can get the package sequence and the timing track. Although it's just, if you go to the X-Lights page, resources, Google Drive, it's under the Singing Faces. Actually, I have that on the slide. There. It's in the Lyric Tracks and Singing Faces folder, and then in the new Upload Here subfolder, and there's the names of the 2 files. Shocking, ChristmasEveryday.xtiming and ChristmasEveryday.zip. So you can get those there.
Beautiful. So as you see, we got quite a few sponsors for this summit, our very first annual, which I think it will be an annual thing. We're already planning for next year, so there's that. Without our sponsors, this wouldn't be possible. So please be sure and visit each and every one of them and thank them personally if you'd like. With that being said, let's go ahead and